welcome to another episode of Essential RC. Today we are looking at the new RadioMaster Zorro. Now I've actually had these for probably about 3 or 4 weeks, but I moved house during that time, so I didn't have a chance to get these out as quick as a review video is like. However, it has been, I've had a chance to use them a little bit. So we've got two versions here. We've got the 4-in-1 and we've also got the Express LRS version. So I've never used Express LRS, so that's a first. We've got up here my TX16, which has become my daily driver now. I use the TX16 for everything I fly. So I finally, a few months ago, converted the last of my Futaba based receivers over to RadioMaster and exclusively using the TX16 on everything now. However, I've been using the Zorro on my sim, so I use several drone racing sims to kind of practice my drone racing skills, and I also have a sim for flying line of sight planes and helicopters just to again practice, and I've been using the Zorro for that, as well as setting up a normal FPV drone with some of the Express LRS kit to compare it to the Crossfire that I currently use in my TX16. You can also get Crossfire on these. There's a module in the back so you can put Crossfire in, so if you're thinking, oh, I've got loads of Crossfire receivers, it can still work for you with the Zorro. So without further ado, let's go in and have a look at some of the cool features of this new radio. So here we are. Why have I got two radios, you ask? These come in two flavors. Actually, I think there's a third, but these are the two we're going to focus on today. This is the 4-in-1. So if you fly with FR Sky receivers or Spectrum receivers, things like that, this is the radio we're going to opt for. Probably better for line of sight flying or entry-level drones, because they tend to use those protocols over a long-range protocol system. So I traditionally, with my RadioMaster, I use Crossfire. You can get a Crossfire module for these as well. So if you are a Crossfire flyer, no problem at all. But more excitingly, actually, I have never used Express LRS, and this one here is the Express LRS version. The screen does have a backlight. I've turned it off because otherwise you just get blinded by glare. Yeah, there is a backlight there. It's just been disabled for the purpose of this video. Express LRS, it's kind of a competitor to Crossfire. They kind of trade blows. You know, there's benefits to both systems, disadvantages to both systems. So it depends what you want to do as to which system you'd use. I personally am quite excited to try out Express LRS because the cost is much lower than Crossfire. For example, here is a tiny little Express LRS receiver that RadioMaster have sent me. That's a tiny little ceramic antenna on the corner there, and that's a full range receiver for line of sight model or even quad racing, that sort of range. So good up to sort of about 1 kilometer. So incredible to see these receivers getting so small and light. You can use this in like mini whoop style quads. You know, it's so light, it's a gram or two. So really impressed to see Express LRS built in with no modules, because when it first came out it was a bit ugly with all the modules. If you're used to OpenTX, you're going to be very familiar with this, the configuration of this radio. It is EdgeTX, which, if you don't know, EdgeTX is a branch of OpenTX. It's being heavily worked on by the dev teams, whereas OpenTX seems to have fallen by the wayside. So you can run EdgeTX and OpenTX on all these products, which is really nice and why they're so flexible. It's really good to see that RadioMaster have shipped it with EdgeTX, and they also shipped it with EdgeTX 2.6 RC2. So really nice to see they're using their initiative and shipping it with the software that's going to be the standard in probably by the time you see this video. It is officially supported as well, which is quite nice. It also does support OpenTX, so if you think, no, I really do want to run OpenTX, you can install OpenTX on it. Other nice little features, it's got Qualcomm 3.0 fast charging, so if you've got a USB-C fast charger, pop that in, and it will charge the radio in about 20 minutes flat. So from flat to fully charged is about 20 minutes on this radio, which is, you know, incredible to see. My RadioMaster TX16 takes a long time, so really happy to see they put in some new tech. That's absolutely awesome. Express ELRS version, it's 250 milliwatt, so plenty of power there. There's no plans for a 900 megahertz version if that's, you know, a frequency you want to operate. And it does take two 18350 batteries in the behind these rubberized grips here. There's an SD card included with every radio, so you do get an SD card that you can put your firmware, save all your models, etc. And one thing I really like is this bigger screen. As I'm sure many of you are aware, there's the Crossfire transmitters, which are gamepad style transmitters, but the screens are so small. I was always put off a gamepad style controller because of the small screen. So I'm a big fan of the big screen. When you're configuring models, it's so useful to have a decent sized screen, and I'm definitely pro for that. There's a little XT30 cable that comes with this model, with this transmitter, and you might be thinking, okay, why do you need an XT30? Well, it goes into here, into this little 2S balance port, so you can put 2S in there. And if you're running any high power modules, save, because it's only got two 18350 batteries, so if you go and stick something on the back that's going to draw a watt or two, you're going to flatten those quite quickly. So it enables you to run that should you need to. These loops here are for plugging in an external battery holder, so you can put some hook and loop through and hold your battery in here, because your fingers don't sit there, so that's nice. And that's about it really in terms of features that are unique to this radio. The scroll wheel, really nice feature, feels really good sort of haptic feedback. The switches, you've got 3 position switches here at the top, and you've got 2 at the bottom. You've got these dials here, some buttons, and some more buttons here. And of course, being OpenTX or EdgeTX, you can program those to do whatever you want. The gimbals, they do feel good. They are a Hall sensor gimbal, so they're much better than your potentiometer type gimbals that you get in your kind of mainstream brands of transmitter, if you like. Although now I think RadioMaster is decimating the mainstream and is becoming mainstream. RadioMaster, as you know, is a fairly new player to the transmitter market in terms of the masses of customers that they have now, and they're doing really well. They're giving the consumer what they want, so they're not sort of, you know, giving the consumer what they think the consumer wants. RadioMaster listen to the community. You can engage with them through their social media pages, and they do listen to their customers, and they produce some really good quality products now. If you ask Dom, when Dom first kind of started thinking about going over to RadioMaster, he said to me, "Oh, what do you think to these RadioMaster radios?" And I was, I'm not going to lie, I was Futaba through and through. I moved from Spectrum, had some issues with Spectrum, and moved over to Futaba and used them for years. And I became a bit of a brand snob with Futaba, if you like. And then I moved to RadioMaster on a couple of models and used it. And now I am exclusively using RadioMaster on my helicopters, my fixed wing, my drones, my FPV models. Literally within the last couple of months, everything's now gone over to RadioMaster. So the power of the software it runs, the quality of the hardware, especially at the price point that RadioMaster are in the market with, it's unbeatable. So well done, RadioMaster. They've absolutely nailed it. They've given you another really high quality radio. Absolutely hit the nail on the head with pretty much everything. The only thing I would probably change on this radio, I would say, is maybe the position of these dials. I tend to rest my fingers there. You might not, you might rest them slightly lower, but that's the only minor criticism I have on this radio. I have heard that there's going to be an AGO1, these kind of upgraded gimbals. I have heard that there's going to be an AGO1 style gimbal potentially in the future. So that'll be cool to see if you like a bit of bling on your radio. They'll still be the same Hall sensor, I'm sure, but they just give a really nice feel. But these gimbals are really good quality. So that's about it for the RadioMaster Zorro. Brilliant radio. If you're getting into flying FPV, if you're getting into flying line of sight, these are your two radios. I would go with the 4-in-1 for line of sight, and I'd go for the Express LRS for your FPV and quad flying. You can get, they're such good value, you could get both. If you are a crossfire flyer like me, you can get the external crossfire module. RadioMaster will sell you a radio with the crossfire module as well. But if you don't have crossfire and you're coming into it as a new person, then there's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't just go for Express LRS these days. It's proven, it's great. There's so many benefits to Express LRS. The cost is phenomenal. And I'm going to put this or this, I haven't decided yet, but I'm going to put one of these tiny little receivers in the quad that I film with, and we'll go from there. But so far I've used it on my sim. I've used the 4-in-1 on a little OMP bind and fly helicopter, bound up straight away, flew the helicopter absolutely fine. This transmitter, I've been using it on my sim and getting on really well with it. I'm going to put it on my drone next. So that's where we are with the RadioMaster Zorro. Pretty much a 10 out of 10 product. Maybe if they'd have put a colour screen, probably asking a bit too much, but if there was a colour screen, it would have been nail on the head for me. But apart from that, there's no need for it to be a colour screen, in all fairness. It's just me wanting more, but for the price, it does not feel like a cheap radio. So there we go. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel as well so you don't miss upcoming videos. We'll do another video of the RadioMaster Zorro. We'll do a video of me using it out on the field, flying my quad with this radio. And until next time, we'll see you again soon. Thanks for watching.